Here is how Overwatch biggest crybaby went from trying to become an Overwatch pro, even up to the point of quitting his job, to being accused of being a bad husband, father, to straight up quitting everything.
I want to compete at the highest levels of Overwatch in the Overwatch Champions series.
This is how Gamin4Hope crashed and burned. David, also known as Gamin4Hope, is known as the most controversial YouTuber in the Overwatch space, because David here is a man of pure dedication. He has big dreams of becoming an Overwatch pro, but he can't get out of plat. This man is the biggest loser on Overwatch, and you don't have to take my word for it.
And I really hope Gamin4Hope or Hope for Game, what the fuck his name is, watches this and tries to respond, because it is ridiculous, bro. I don't know how you think this isn't your fault. It is unacceptable. If you want to go pro, you need to be more realistic with yourself, bro. You're not going pro with this attitude. You can't win in bronze. How are you going to win in OWCS?
Now, does David decide to buckle down and learn the characters in his free time? No! He straight up quit his job. See, the problem with this is that David is a 29-year-old man who's married with children.
I want to compete at the highest levels of Overwatch in the Overwatch Champions series. But there's a problem. I'm 28 years old, married, and raising a family. This makes the path to get there much longer and consequently more challenging.
And we all know, to make it to pro in Overwatch, you can't have anything even resembling human contact. But since David is stuck in platinum, mainly because he has little time to play, when he does play, he spends most of his time doing stupid stuff like this.
Okay, let's reset.
Okay, we just need to back out here, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, you're just dead.
But yeah, he's dead because you're not drawing aggro, bro. His Sojourn is the fucking tank. He's not going pro.
Dead.
All right. So right now, he is basically doing nothing. What I would like from him here is to try to set something up here, though. You know, he's letting it happen. It's like someone's trying to fuck him, and he's laying down and is like, yeah, fuck me.
In the past, when I was focused on my Overwatch League journey, the goal was to utilize the social media following that I have to attract teams in the contenders area and network my way up from there. However, I have since discovered the next vital step: participating in scrims. For those who might not know, scrims are practice sessions specifically designed for honing team play. Personally, I plan to form a team of like-minded individuals who are eager to compete alongside me as we strive together to compete in the OWCS.
David starts screaming, finally. I don't know how he thought he was gonna make it to the tournament without having played a scrim in his life, but GG's to him, he finally started playing some scrims. But he kind of has some money problems. See, he didn't think about it before jumping into the full content creation thing, but he even started living with his parents.
My biggest challenge, though, goes well beyond Overwatch, and that's actually the area of my finances. Right now, I can't afford to drop to part-time work and support my family. At the start of this journey, I was actually a full-time content creator. I was fortunate enough to be in that situation because of some very supportive family members and driving for Uber and Lyft part-time.
He never thought about the consequences of quitting your job to become a full-time content creator. But even though David had gotten another job, this man decided, I'm gonna quit this other one again so I can focus on content creation and becoming an Overwatch pro. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Build an emergency fund that can cover a full year of our expenses. After we accomplish these goals, I plan to quit my teller job and use that extra time to focus on creating content and improving my skills as an Overwatch competitor. Ultimately, that's where the next important step comes into play: competing in smaller tournaments. With FACEIT now being natively part of Overwatch 2, organizing structured tournaments has become easier than ever before. A fantastic way of putting those skills to the test is by jumping into tournaments. This not only gives us the chance to compete, but also allows us to potentially earn some cash prizes.
See, David even thinks, hey, yo, I'm gonna try and jump into tournaments and maybe see if I can get some money off that, which I guess is a good idea if you were actually cracked at the game. If you're one of the top tanks in your region, I guess. But David, you're in plat. How are you going to make it? So David finally settles down on the plan to compete. And he says he's going to start competing in 2026. But then some other controversial things started coming out. Things like David not being a good father, not being a good husband, and even hating the LGBTQ community.
Let's address these allegations that the entirety of the community of Overwatch seems to be at least aware of at this point. The allegations that I'm aware of at this point are that I neglect my children, I'm anti-LGBTQIA+, I'm a Nazi, apparently I'm still considered to be a member of the KKK, I am unemployed, I groomed my wife, which is insane to say out loud, Apply's reaction, which obviously was a lot of what sparked this whole chaotic mess, and not that that's his fault, just to be clear, and then I am going to share an adjustment to my goals in general at the end of the video.
While most of these things turned out to be exaggerated by the internet, the fact still remained that Gamin4Hope was trying to become a pro without having become a grandmaster or even close to that point. See, Gamin4Hope has a big problem, which is his ego. A lot of players definitely think they're better than they are, but you end up finding out you're not as good as you thought you were. When everything was said and done and they actually beat most of the allegations, on August 15th, 2025, Gamin4Hope released a video. He quits, and he's gonna explain to us why.
After over 2 years of grinding to get to the tier 1 level of Overwatch, I have failed. Not in the clickbait secretly I'm winning kind of way, actual failure. The dream that I have documented on social media platforms, primarily with video, is still out there. Many of you have seen my late nights, my wins, losses, rants, and copium-filled hope that was keeping me going. It's time that I talk about this, and I owe you the truth that I am stepping away from the pursuit of tier 1 Overwatch going forward.
So I think David finally got a reality check. So he actually gave up trying to become an Overwatch pro, which good for him, I guess. I mean, you don't want to leave your family hanging. Too bad it took this long for you to actually realize that. You should have actually thought about your family in the beginning.
At 27 years old, with a wife and 2 children at the time, I decided to set a goal that was absolutely bonkers. This involved me chasing this dream I had in my head of wearing a dope headset, having my name on the back of a jersey, and competing against the very best players of Overwatch across the world. Overwatch itself hasn't just been a game to me at all, at any point. It's been a game that I fell in love with, and I've built friendships in, and actually really ignited this competitive fire in me. So I set a ridiculous goal that I knew people would rightfully question. That goal was to compete at the highest tier of Overwatch by 2026. At the time, this was the Overwatch League, may it rest in peace. And even to me, I knew this was bordering on impossible, but that just made me want to chase it even more. Going pro in esports isn't just mindlessly grinding ranked on a live stream. You've got a lot more to it. You got to get coached, you need to review your own gameplay, and the thing that I didn't know going into this is you needed to do something called scrims. You break down your own gameplay, you review VODs, and you get absolutely dumpstered by players that are infinitely better at you at playing in a team-organized environment, or scrims like I just referenced. My days were very, very repetitive. They looked like getting up, going to work, coming home to warm up, then play the game, review my gameplay, go to bed, and continue this on a cycle. I cut out almost all social plans that were for me personally, with the exception of the ones that involved my immediate family of my wife and children. I even took a chance on myself and quit my 9-to-5 I had at the time because we had the financial means to float several months.
Thank God he finally got the wake-up call, because this man seemed to have been heading to the worst direction ever. Yes, that's what you have to do when you want to become an Overwatch pro. That's what you have to. Even more, you don't need a job. Yeah, you want to be an Overwatch pro, like even for my Marvel Rivals views, you want to be you want to play any of this game on a pro level, you literally have to quit your job. You literally have to quit your job. And if you're not a content creator, it makes no sense for you to just quit your job just to do this. Like it barely makes sense to quit your job to do content creation. Imagine quitting your job on the hopes of you becoming an Overwatch pro. That's crazy. That's stupid. But it's not only a full-time job. It also has to do with a lot of luck. Like you have to be extremely lucky to be the type of person that picks up the game and is like, yo, I got this. Yeah, whatever character comes out, I kind of know my way through it. Like, especially in games like Overwatch, yeah, any hero shooter, it's kind of extremely difficult to just say I want to become a pro and not think it's going to be a full-time job. Like, if you were not cracked as ranked, why would you think you are going to become a pro? It makes no sense.
I was improving, but not at a pace fast enough to get ahead of the curve that I had fallen behind by only having had maybe a couple hundred hours in the game when I started. And this was almost exclusively because I was not willing to sacrifice what little time I had with my family on a day-to-day basis and on a weekly basis in the sake of actually pursuing this goal with more time available.
Yo, I can understand trying to chase your dreams and always going for your dreams. Yes, it's always understandable and you should always do that. But you shouldn't just go, hey, I have a full family that I'm gonna abandon just to chase my dreams. That's crazy. You don't have to abandon your family, bro, to do that. See, he could have taken an hour a day and focused on maybe just content creation and had a grand time. Maybe he might have gotten some views, maybe he might not have gotten some views, but putting his family in jeopardy just to try and get to be an Overwatch pro, you're like, that was your dream? Bro, what the hell? It's not even a sustainable plan. What were you trying to do? Win tournaments every year?
Let's talk about the breaking point, which wasn't some like wild tournament loss. It was actually a scrim that recently has kind of become famous. I had been on a team for the previous year at this point, and I started to notice that they were playing infinitely better with our other tank player. I saw the difference and noticed some things that I just wasn't gelling with the team and they weren't gelling with me. And the other thing is the objective reality that that tank player was 2 full divisions ranked higher than me. Unfortunately, my skill gap was not closing fast enough, so I decided that it would be best for the team if I walked away, realizing that reality was we weren't gelling as people, and I wasn't playing as well as I needed to. I was a hindrance to them, so I chose to walk away from the team that I created. Clinging on to the little drive and discipline that I still had, I decided to grind public ranked to masters and maybe join a scrim team at that time, but I would get there when I got there.
Although he mostly blames his teammates, being like, oh, I wasn't gelling with them, I wasn't being cool with them, yeah. But the reality is he got his wake-up call. The other tank, who was 2 divisions higher than him, was way much better than him, and he should have just known that, yeah, there's just some things you can't do, I guess. Like, if you're not good at the game, you can't become a pro. That's just normal. Everyone knows that. I guess he should have thought about that before trying to even attempt any of this. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.